Really, really interesting move for San Francisco because I think they still need defensive end depth. It's a thing I will shout from the mountaintops.
Mm-hmm.
It is Nick Bosa. You can think the world of Mykel Williams. He is still a rookie. We see better prospects flame out all the time. So that is a massive question mark. You have who else is over there? Year Gross Matos is there. Somebody like Sam Okuwanu. Like you get all these. Every name I'm going to throw out here is like like that's not a person you want starting.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce Huff is a legitimate NFL player. Now the question is, and this is what everybody is kind of trying to figure out. He had 10 sacks in 2023. That was his third year in Robert Saleh's defense. And he finally broke out, had this huge year, relays that into a 3-year, $51.1 million contract with the Eagles. Now he goes to Vic Fangio's defense, very different scheme from what he was doing with Robert Saleh, and struggled to the point that Jason Dumas, who works at I forget the sports station he works at in Philly. I had it written down. I know I can't remember it. He reported that in the building in Philly that he was like viewed as a non-player. Like he was not going to be a guy for them. But like I said, a very, very different scheme. So we don't know the exact compensation yet that the 49ers are giving up. It was reported as a mid-round pick. I don't know if that's a mid-round pick in 2026 or 2027. I don't know if that means a 4th-round pick or a 6th-round pick.
That's weird that we still don't know.
So look, man, here's where it's at. Even if he's a rotational edge rusher who is a situational passing downs only, although he's been a pretty good run defender in his career, passing downs only, just pin his ears back, get after the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's their most known quantity outside of Nick Bosa now.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have an entire defense that's built around, hey, we're going to rush the passer, we're going to affect the quarterback, and that is the number one priority of the defense is to make the quarterback uncomfortable and throw the ball before he wants. And that's how we're going to generate turnovers, et cetera, et cetera. If that's going to be your defensive ethos, you need players like Bryce Huff.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say he's going to go get 10 sacks. But if you can get 5.5, 6 sacks out of him and just regular pressure at the spot opposite Nick Bosa, where they've really struggled to find somebody who can consistently get pressure, I think this is well worth it. Even if it's a 5th-round pick, I would happily give that up for a known quantity in the NFL like Bryce Huff.
Yeah, so for me, this is what I've kind of been hoping for is that, we get past it's a June 1st designation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you cut players, but also once you sign players after that date, it doesn't impact your compensatory picks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that the 49ers are extremely active on this exact trade market. And maybe that's why they're not putting a number on what pick they're trading, because they don't know what comp picks they're going to get. But the formula, they should probably have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
But I think that the 49ers, because they've had so many players leave, they're going to be a team that loads up on comp picks again.
Mm-hmm.
And so why not go out and get players that are legitimate NFL players that for whatever reason don't fit where they're at, or a team just says, okay, when you offer something for them. Because at this point, I think they still need a wide receiver. I think they could still use another linebacker. I think they could still use some other depth pieces, offensive guard, whatever it might be. Go use some of what you just lost to go get some player. And I'm not saying go spend and go crazy, but this team isn't that far away. And you've gotten to a point where you don't want to waste some really valuable years of some players who are aging out. And I think that this is what you have to do. This is, after you get past the June 1st thing, go out and get some people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you, man. Aldrin J, for example, asks, would you go sign Von Miller for depth? Yeah, man. If Von Miller wants to play in San Francisco, Von Miller might be at the point where he's going, I'm playing for Buffalo or Kansas City or Philly or Detroit, and that's it. Or whatever teams he views as the top contenders. But he might be at that stage of his career. But yeah, if you're the 49ers, That's the kind of player you want to go get. You mentioned a wide receiver. I saw a thing today. I know the Patriots just signed Stephon Diggs, but his contract is also built where they could just cut him this year.
Mm.
And if Stephon Diggs is going to get let go, sure, go get another veteran receiver. And I know he's coming off the ACL, and that's at age 32. But you're not looking for prime Stephon Diggs. You're looking for a depth piece that hey, if this guy has to give me 30 snaps in a game, I know what I'm getting in those 30 snaps.
Yeah, because as of right now, the only receiver you have that can actually suit up and play is Juwan Jennings.
Yes.
That's it for the first 8 weeks of the season, probably at least.
Everything else is a massive question mark.
Yeah. Ricky Pearsall is now out for the remainder of the summer with a hamstring.
And that's the thing with, just while we're on the subject of Ricky Pearsall, even before he got shot in the chest, which is insane.
Yep.
He dealt with 2 separate injuries in camp last year that kept him out of camp even before he got shot, which is still just a wild ass thing to say.
It is. Well, that, and I like Bryce Huff just turned 27. You went out and got a guy who's under contract for a couple of years. They reworked his contract before he got traded, and you know that he's young. You know that he understands the system. It's Robert Saleh. He knows Robert Saleh trusts him.
And that's the thing is, if you're the 49ers, you trust Robert Saleh.
Mm-hmm.
And if Robert Saleh says, hey, we need to go get that guy, to the point that there was some surprise from the Philly side that, hey, they got something for him in a trade because they were just going to release him, which means to me, Robert Saleh went, we can't let him get to the open market because if he's released, he's an unrestricted free agent. He can go anywhere. We need to make sure we get him in our building.
Yeah.
And if you're going to give Robert Saleh the keys to your defense, you have to pull the trigger when he says, I need that guy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're the 49ers, you're just like, all right, we're trusting it. And like I said, it's a player who has a really, really nice season under his belt in 2023. This isn't some rando who's just been on practice squads.
Yep.
I think it's the right type of move they need to be making. And you're right. Could you make a similar move on the offensive line? Give yourself some depth there. If it presents itself, they absolutely should be.
Yep.
Because there's not a spot where somebody in the chatty house earlier, and I want to talk about this in relation to team building in the NBA and the Kings and stuff, but it's just like, never stop adding talent.
No.
Even if it's a reserve, even if it's like, because man, that guy might wind up needing to play major snaps in a playoff game.
Yep.
And you'd way rather have quality depth than not. Like we get so far into it that having good players is still the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And having better players is still the goal. And the 49ers have plenty of assets, both draft pick wise and salary cap wise, to go make a couple of these kind of low level moves that we're talking about. All right, let's get back to the NBA. We've got finals coming up. We've got Kings offseason stuff to get to. There were a couple things you guys talked about.